So welcome, my name is Tenneson Wolf, and today I'm with Moze Crozier, a friend and colleague and delightful human being, and we're talking a little bit about the Circle Way. I have three questions with you, Moze. The first is, could you just give us a little bit of an essence of who you are in a vocational kind of way?
Essence. I am called to be in service to other humans. That is my work, and through very practical means that might be focused on cultural reform in workplaces, or just having the hard conversations that need to be had. Just really interested in helping people to be the best that they can in the situations that they're in.
Beautiful. You were a participant last year at the Circle Way Practicum held north of Brisbane-ish last year. And I'm curious what you feel you've been up to with Circle, and how did the practicum help or contribute to that?
So I was called to go to the practicum because I have been dabbling in Circle for a number of years, introduced through art of hosting, but really needing to, deepen my practice and my understanding. And how it's just shown up everywhere in my life and in my work. And since the practicum, I guess there's been a couple of little unique spaces that it's shown up in. One was a pretty awful school experience for one of my children, and instead of getting into retaliation, all the things that we could have done, I invited the principal to let us host a circle with the kids and the parents involved, and that was very powerful. And yeah, changed relationships. It was quite impactful. So that was kind of at one heartfelt end of things. And then in other ways, it's just how I use Circle in meetings, stealthily sometimes, but just the importance of the structure of a circle and the bounds of check-in and check-out. If that's the least I can do in a meeting, I think that invites people to arrive. And I notice that when I'm not at meetings now, that whoever's hosting, they do the check-in and check-out. So just, in a very simple way, but in a meaningful way. So, yeah, Circle shows up.
Yeah, beautiful. I love the thought that what we've brought in stays behind, and maybe there's something turned on in other people about how they too can just better the situation or help the situation a little bit through some very simple things. Let me try one last question. As you know, we're continuing the practice, and Penny Hamilton and Amanda Fenton and myself will be back in June and hosting another practicum. For people who are considering coming to that practicum, is there an encouragement that you would extend to those folk?
Look, if it aligned, I would go back again. So it's a practice. In a practice sense, you cannot do enough to keep deepening and practicing. I learned how to use Circle in a whole heap of different ways. So one thing I connected with was the appreciation circle, and I recently hosted a little blessing ceremony for a friend who's having a baby, and we did a lengthy appreciation circle for her. And so just how I could use it in any way. So just lots of little practices, the question cafe stuff. There was some really good other practices that I learned and have been dabbling in as well. But why I would go back and why I would is all of that to keep developing practice. But it's the spaciousness of being able to connect with other humans that you just don't get in life. I think that gift is worth the time and energy and effort. It's very, very precious, and it was spacious. It was such a well-designed retreat because it was spacious and allowed for deep learning, deep connection, and deep practice. It was beautiful. I'll be back again one day.
I love it. Thank you so much, Moze. I am glad to be in it with you. For those wanting to find and follow more, the circlewayaustralia.com is a site where you can find some of that information. Thanks, Moze.
Pleasure.